back to my channel. Today is the first day of quarter 4 and it feels like it's not even the first day of the quarter. So quarter 4 is our last quarter of the school year, and then we have summer. So I'm at a continuation school instead of having an entire year of the same students and the same class. Every quarter at our school we have a new class and new students, so we kind of refresh every quarter instead of every year. So this is quarter 4, it's day 1, and I'm just doing the things that I do on the first day of school if it were the actual first day of the school year. So I'll show you what that is. I'm sure I've showed you before. I don't do the same things every quarter. In fact, I change it every other quarter. So first quarter I would do the same as third quarter, and then second quarter I would do the same as fourth quarter. So it's kind of like the fall and spring, and then when we redo that the second semester, it's the fall and spring again. So I've showed you what I've done before, but I'm going to show you again. So I'm going to point this over at my projector over there. So we start off with my slideshow. So this is the slideshow that I made, and I did this over summer, last summer when I was in Idaho. So I have a picture of our mascot, I have all that stuff, week 1, day 1. So it tells them what they're gonna do. So at the top it says that they're doing a seating chart, and then after that we're watching a short clip, and then we go over our Puma's acronym and then all that stuff, and then it reminds them to bring a notebook to school. So that's what we're doing today, which is pretty simple. It takes up almost the entire period, and then we go over things like our Puma bucks, which is just like our paper fake money for our school. So let me show you what we actually do that on. So this is the worksheet. Usually I'll do it double-sided, but I had some extras that I had from the beginning of school, like the beginning of the school year. So I had extra pages. So when I mess up the copier, or not mess up the copier, when I mess up the copies, instead of doing like double-sided, I'll get 2 sheets, and I was like, wait, what? So I'm using these again. I just stapled them. So this is the beginning. It says, what is a Puma? And it's basically the entire video just typed out, and then I delete some words so they can fill in the blanks. And I do it to where they can't get all the answers on the first try, because at my school kids are like so afraid of talking to each other that in order for them to get them all, they have to talk to each other and see like, oh, did you get number whatever, did you get this one, did you get that one? And if they don't, then they lose points because they didn't fill in anything, so it's blank. So that's what the first page is. It's literally the entire video typed out. It took me so long to do this. It was so annoying, but I use this at the beginning of the quarters, and it's really good because the first week we still, just like any other school, we have a lot of kids that need their classes changed. Maybe it's worse at our school, I don't know, but I would say at least half the class moves. So we're moving half the class out of the class, and then we're getting the other half new kids. So that's how many kids, like, their schedules are wrong and they need to be changed. So I do things like this so that it's not specifically for the curriculum, but it's still something to like keep them busy, get them introduced to the school without jumping too far into the curriculum, because I don't want to get into the curriculum without our entire class here, as the schedules do change. So this is the first page, and again, it would be on the back, but this is just the second page. So the second page just asks them like about our acronym. So the first part, they have to Google something, but I've learned, last quarter I learned this, don't let the students use Chromebooks on the first week of school, because if you have kids that are in gangs at your school, then they have a moniker. Now a moniker is something that like they would tag. So if they're gonna go like spray paint a wall with their tag, then that's what their moniker is. Now we have a lot of kids like that, so if we don't know their moniker, they will carve up the Chromebooks, which I can show you because last quarter this happened to me. So I was like all ready to jump in the curriculum the first day. I was like, you know what, let's just jump in, let's get through it. Like, I had Chromebooks out every single day, and one thing that I learned is that as kids are moving out, you don't know all their names, and if there's new kids at the school, you don't know all their monikers. So first day I had 7 Chromebooks, if you can see that, just carved into. They just carve it. So I don't know if they use a key, I don't know what they're using, but they're using something to carve into them. So I have all of these Chromebooks in here. Let me show you. All of these are carved up. So I don't keep these out, because if I do, kids would grab them and they'll see that it's carved, so then they're going to carve theirs to kind of mark their territory. So this isn't yours, like I'm going to scribble yours out and write mine, and then you just damage the Chromebooks. So these were all brand new, and they're just like, they probably only been used that week that I gave them, and they're already carved up. So I don't let them use Chromebooks at the beginning of the week. Instead, I will wait until the second or third week to start letting them use Chromebooks, because I just don't want them ruining the Chromebooks. It's just like ridiculous. So instead, although it says Google the definition of acronym, I actually will Google it on my computer and project it on the screen so that they can see it. So they'll just write down the definition. So if they didn't show up the first day and they showed up the second day, then I would just give this to them and they would do this at home. And then the video, I would copy the link and paste it into Google Classroom so they can do it on their own at home too. So it's a little bit easier, because then if they do it at home, they have the opportunity to pause the video every time that they miss one. The only thing is, if it's late work, then it's late. Sorry, you missed points. But yeah, so this is just all about the acronym. So our acronym here, what is the definition of an acronym? What is the one word that makes up our school acronym? What does each letter in our acronym stand for? And then it kind of goes on how you're going to prove that you are proactive, how you're going to prove that you're united or motivated or whatever. And then in number 6, that's where they create their own acronym. So not only do they have to come up with the word itself, so ours is Pumas, they have to come up with each word that comes off of that word. So I gave them an example of, let's do pizza. How would you use pizza as an acronym, but still keeping it school related? So I would say, oh, well, P, you are peaceful. I, you have integrity, or things like that. So they would just make up their own acronym, and then write down different words that would go with the school too, even if your acronym was pizza or your mascot was pizza. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so this one, why did you choose the acronym? How will that acronym help the students, the staff, the principal, anything like that? And they have to fill every line. So I put lines in there for them to write on, and if they don't write enough for each line, I just give it back and I tell them, no, you need to write more. This is an English class, you're trying to use different words, like find other words that you can use, add to it, tell me your thoughts, things like that. So at the end, I put like, woohoo, you're done, hooray, make sure your name's on it. I put like a little reminder, make sure your name is on the front of the paper. And then they turn this in. So this is all we do on the first day of school. Tomorrow is a little bit different, because we are a little more finalized, definitely not finalized, because it is the second day and schedules change so much, especially today. The only way they are taking schedule changes is if a student has a blank in their schedule, which surprisingly happens a lot. Like, I'll get a kid who doesn't have a 6th period, or a kid who doesn't have a 4th or 2nd or 3rd, like they just don't have a period, they just have nothing. So those are the only schedule changes that they're taking today. So other than that, kids are stuck. And I have leadership, I have ASB, so I have kids that are just dumped in my class and I don't even know who they are, so I can't even remove them today, and it's just, it's not a good week. It's not a good week to be kind of in the curriculum, because it's too much, because kids will fall too far behind. So this is what I do first day. Second day is this. So second day we'll go over the syllabus, and then I will give them this. So this is a letter that I wrote to them, and their job is to flip it over and respond, filling up all the lines. So it is a very, very long, in-depth letter, but it is things that I think they should know. And it's the first week of school is tough for teachers, specifically teachers who look young like myself, who are young, who look like they are innocent and easily like a kid could just take advantage and just like, oh, I'm not going to listen to you type of stuff. You get a lot of that. So the first week is definitely where you need to set the tone. And for me, I am very open, I guess. So I tell them the first day, like, if you don't pay attention to my rules, if you don't follow my rules, then I'm going to write referrals. Like, I'm not going to hold back. Our school doesn't do detentions. We just have referrals, and our referral will just go to the principal, and the principal will talk to the student, or they'll talk to the parents, or they'll have meetings or things like that. I just immediately, like, I will write a referral. So if a student comes into class and they are wearing a hat, we have a rule at our school that they can't wear hats, and it's a school-wide rule, not just per teacher. So if a teacher sees a student with a hat, you have to crack down on the first day that you see it, because if you don't, it's just going to cause problems later, because they're going to think that they can get away with it. Oh, well, you told me to take it off and I didn't take it off. Well, now it's okay because you didn't say it this day or whatever. You have to crack down. You have to, especially the first week. That's when they start to learn. So you, like one of the teachers says at my school, you have to take your pound of flesh. So my printer is haunted. You have to take that pound of flesh. So you have to get someone to understand, like, you know what, if you're not taking off your hat, get out of my class, or I'm writing a referral, I'll call security and they'll walk you down to the principal's office and make sure you take off that hat. So things like that, you have to crack down the first week. You have to. And it's not just like, I know a lot of people say the first week is the most important, which I understand. It is the most important. Sometimes you do really, really well the first week, and then maybe a month or 2 months go by and things start to get kind of crazy again, and kids start to like disrespect you more, and you're like, whoa, where is this coming from? It's because you've become more lax in your rules. So you have to go back to cracking down, and that's how you can fix that. But yeah, so this letter tells them, like, I'm here to help you, and if you don't want that help, then it's going to be a problem, because you have to be in this class to do work, not just to sit there. I'm not going to let you put your head down. I'm not going to let you like disrespect me, things like that. And I tell them, like, in order for you to do well in this class, you have to pay attention and do the work. And if you're not doing the work, then it's kind of like, well, you're wasting your time and you're wasting mine. I have a lot of other kids here that I can help. So one of the kind of incentives for them that I make sure that they know, because a lot of kids, like, they are very against authority, and if you give them some kind of incentive that is an important one, like not just like a piece of candy or a Puma buck or something, then they'll start to understand, like, oh, okay, I gotta act, okay, I want that, I want to act better. One of the things I say in this letter is that I should actually read this to you. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I should, let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna read this paragraph for you. It's kind of long, but I think it's really good for like teachers to be able to tell students, because it's something that kind of like changes your perspective. So I said, blah, blah, blah. With that said, I want to talk to you about respect, the importance of how we treat others and how we are seen by others. In high school, I would always tell my friends something along the lines of, you care too much what other people think. When I said it to a new friend in college, he responded saying, what other people think of you and how they see you is one of the most important things of your life. After he explained why, I completely changed my perspective. He said, to really get places in life, you have to know people. If someone thinks negatively about you, that can really affect where you go in life and the opportunities presented to you. Shouldn't you care what your professor thinks about you or what your boss thinks about you? They hold the power to open doors for you and give you opportunities you may never have had if they thought poorly about you or saw you in a negative light. You don't always have to like people, but you should always respect them. You never know who may end up being in a position to help you out one day. So now I'm going to share the most important rule in this class. Give respect and get respect. Respect goes a long way, and although I may just be human, I do have the power and connections to open doors for you. And that is where I kind of go off into the tangent of, you know, when you go to college or when you get a job and you need to use a reference. I can write you a reference letter. I can just give you the school phone number and put my name on there so that you can use me as a reference when you get a job or when you go to college or when you write anything that you need for your life. So I kind of tell them that, and a lot of the times kids don't even think about that. They don't think about that at all because people don't tell them that you're going to need references. When I got my first job and asked for 5 references, I was like, damn, who do I know? Like, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. So when you bring it up to them, they'll start to think like, wow, yeah, I really do need a reference. And if I tell them, if you're just mean, I don't want to write a reference letter for you. I'm not going to. But if you're a nice kid, you do your work, you pay attention, you follow the rules that I set for you, then yeah, I'll definitely write you a reference letter. So that is, I think, the most important paragraph that I wrote in this letter. Feel free to copy it. I don't really care. I think that if anything, all teachers should say something like that so that they understand like how important it is to respect other people, specifically teachers, because teachers are above students. You should be respecting them. I know how education is these days, and it's a lot different than what it was when I was in high school. We didn't have an option of respect. It was just kind of, it was a thing. It was just, you just give them respect. there's nothing else. You just do it. Now it's a lot different, so it is very important for me to have that in that letter. So again, this is day 2. And this will be right after my syllabus. So I went over the rules in the syllabus first, and now you're getting a letter, so this is kind of enforcing you, you know, it's enforcing the rules, like, this is it. Like, I'm going to tell you, like, this is what happens. And it just works really well. Sometimes I do syllabus day on the 3rd day, which is a Wednesday, just because schedules are a little bit more finalized, but I want to do it tomorrow just because I feel like for some reason there's not going to be as much changes this quarter. Like I said, it doesn't feel like 4th quarter at all. It doesn't feel like a new quarter at all. It feels like I'm just kind of back and, oh, my same students are coming in, which a lot of my classes, the students are the same, so it's kind of just, it's a weird day for me. It's an off day for me. But yeah, so this is the first day of school. Another tip I would suggest on your first day of school is dress professionally. If you don't dress professionally on your first day, you come in jeans, which a lot of teachers do. Like, they just have casual day or whatever. They just come in jeans on the first day. I don't recommend it because it kind of shows that you're a little bit lax in the way you dress, so maybe you're lax with your rules. It's more of a first impression type of thing, especially if you look young like me. You look innocent, and like kids can just easily, like, you know, they don't care, like, you don't look that scary type of thing. Definitely dress professionally. Wear some nice slacks, wear some nice shoes. This is just like a sweater shirt that I have on. So I really suggest dressing professionally and forcing, like, put down the hammer, like, put it down. That's gonna really help you. All right, so I'm gonna end this little video here. Again, this is my first day, and my second day is the letter. So I will see you in my next video. If there's anything specific you want to see, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.